What's going on, guys? Armand here. Welcome back to the Correct Lens podcast. I'm here with Michael. Go ahead, plug it.
Hello, it's me, Michael, with Cobalt Studios. I also Nilas Photography is my mothership.
We're rusty today.
We're very. It's been what
since end of February.
Since the end of February.
Like 2 months.
2 months, which brings us to a little bit about what we wanted to talk about today, which is what?
Slow season.
What the hell are we doing this slow season?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like busy right now, right? Usually like spring into summer.
Typically, like for me, historically, it is a busier part of the year, but this year has been
Not great.
A little different. I don't know if it's just the climate here in the States or some things that are going on, or if everyone's kind of tightening purse strings and not doing as many big projects right now. But I mean, for me, for you, and for a lot of people in our network and in our industry, I feel like it's definitely been
slow,
tough.
If you're a freelancer, it is tough right now.
I imagine it's like it for people not just in the media industry or doing photography and video, but all over. So
yeah, I think any freelancer is, kind of screwed right now.
So
it doesn't matter what the industry is,
Exactly.
If you're one of the lucky people that have a full-time creative job, then you're probably doing okay. Or maybe on the brink of not doing okay.
Yeah,
I don't know.
What's your overhead like, right?
Yeah.
What do you got stashed up? But okay, so for you, like with things being slower, what have you been up to? How have you been filling the time, or how have you been getting creative to get a little more money in your pocket?
So money has not been going in my pocket. That's the problem.
Brutal.
So yeah, it's like, there's things you can do when work is slow, like you can do spec shoots, or you can try to, dabble in different types of photography. Like I've been shooting weddings and elopements.
Yeah, for people who don't know what a spec shoot is, what is a spec shoot?
So a spec shoot is like, okay, let's say it's a commercial shoot, right? So if you want to build your commercial portfolio and you want to pitch to commercial clients, but let's say you've never shot commercial before, or there's a certain type of industry, like let's say like automotive, for example, like you want to shoot cars, you would go out and just do a bunch of car photo shoots and just treat it like it's a real client shoot.
Just build upon your portfolio.
Yeah, just start building on your portfolio, and like you never know who's going to see your work. So yeah, I've been getting into like weddings and elopements as like a side like weekend thing.
Yeah.
I shot one, it was really cool, and then I have a couple more coming up with you.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
It'd be nice to actually be out there together and doing it.
Yeah, instead of just talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
Another thing is I've been doing these like really highly photoshopped portrait shoots.
Yeah, your surreal stuff. I've been loving that you're putting more art out there right now.
Yeah, so I got some of those coming up, and that's been kind of getting people interested in like the editing part of it.
Yeah.
Because you see a lot of like regular portrait shoots, but you don't see, I mean, I guess you do see it on Instagram, but not too many like super highly photoshopped things, like exposure blending, like multiple people in, and adding textures and overlays and all these like extra things.
Yeah.
I did one with Alyssa where the chair was on fire.
Dude, right?
Dude, that one was cool.
Putting in the extra work and actually doing something really challenging.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, we've talked about it before, but like the more we see on social media and stuff like that, I feel like the less work people put into shoots because they feel less like, they feel like their work is worthless maybe, but like, I love that you've been putting in extra work, and it's taken me back. It's weird to say it, but almost like more conceptual photography takes me back to like that 2010 era when I was really delving into the work, and I was like, oh, this stuff's so cool. But I've been seeing you do more of that. But
yeah, and I feel like a lot of people I see out there, on Instagram in the community, wherever, they go and do these photo shoots, and they're delivering like 20, 30 plus photos.
Trying to dial it back and do a little less.
Yeah, like they're delivering in volume rather than like
the quality.
Yeah. So instead of doing like maybe like 2 to 4 really amazing photos, they're doing like 20, 30 plus. And they're just kind of like running around, spray and pray with the camera.
I know, right? We've talked about that a bit previously, and I've been focused a lot more as well on doing the more quality over quantity. And I've been even talking with clients like, hey, like we got to hone down to your 7 images we're going to get. But that has really also helped me because it's the same. I put all that time into that, and I've been liking my work a lot more as well.
Yeah.
But it sounds like in the slow season, you're just really making sure not to waste any time.
Yeah.
Do anything you can with that time while you got it. I learned from COVID, during COVID, I thought, I've got time. I'm gonna kind of fuck off with it. So I wasted a lot of time, and I could have gotten so much further ahead if I would have spent it right. So same things have been slow for me, and I have a lot of overhead, so I get nervous about money, and so I have to really focus on how to make more money. But even in my spare time, I've been doing more like I'm going back to old work, and I'm putting them into making articles and documents and PDFs that have like a layout and cool. I can go present pages to, commercial clients, or I like to bug people in person. I'm kind of old fashioned. So I've been working on my booklets and trying to get material for maybe one day being able to sell like educational material and put it together. And so definitely not wasting any time, even if things are slow money wise, like just trying to do anything I can to have at least material to make more money.
Yeah.
So, but it's hard.
I think, at least for me, the hard thing is when you have the jobs lined up, but then they fall through.
Dude.
That's been my whole year.
Dude.
And they're like big jobs too. I was supposed to go to LA for 2 weeks, and that got pushed apparently. There was like some internal issues with the client, and then that got pushed. And then I was supposed to color an 8-episode web series, and then they just they're like, oh, it's not ready yet, like maybe we'll let you know.
Oddly enough though, it's been the same climate for me. Like I've never had so many drop-offs recently.
Yeah.
But like in the wedding world, this has happened multiple times where people, they're like, I want to book you, and I'm like, cool. And then like a couple days goes by, and then they're like, I'm so sorry, I found someone else I'm gonna work with. And I'm like, hey, let's talk about why. And they're like, I just felt like I didn't want to ask you to go cheaper on your prices. Like I literally had someone say, you deserve your full rate, and I just decided I couldn't do that right now. And they like made an excuse for why, being that they're closer to me. I was like, I didn't have a travel fee. Like I don't understand. Yeah. And I haven't seen stuff like that before, but I feel like people really are nervous about money right now.
Yeah, I think that's the big one.
But the big problem too, as we've talked about many times, is there's so many media specialists, we'll quote that, or people that are on Facebook that are just willing to do the jobs for so dirt cheap, and they're not going to provide the same quality, but I mean, like people are just undercutting rates, and it's really hurting the rest of the industry. And I see that across the board. And I've had a lot of conversations, especially recently, about that. But as you were talking about people just dropping off, I've had that with small clients too. I told you the crazy story recently about the dude who I think he just like decided he didn't have the budget for his project.
Yeah.
And he put it on me, and like,
he
didn't even just say like, I had a situation, as you know, about where the guy wanted to come get his deposit back and made a threat, and I popped a fucking gasket. That wasn't good at all, man. Like don't throw threats at me for no reason. I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, that's weird.
But like
I've never had that happen before.
Dude, it was wild. I don't want to say too much on the pod about that, but like I've had like people that are like aggressive and weird, and I've had people just stop talking to me and ghost me, and I think
that's the most common one.
All of it right now is definitely, I think, just the climate, and people are worried about money.
Yeah, because like, I guess you could look at a photo shoot as like a luxury service. It's like getting a tattoo. Like you want it, but you don't need it.
I'm not getting tattoos right now because I'm also tightening my budget string. So I
same.
I get it, and
I got ideas, but my wallet has other ideas for me right now.
So I don't know. Like I think to all the creatives out there that rely on their art for their income, like just fucking buckle in, dude, because it's going to be interesting for a little while, I think.
But at the same time, like the money's out there. You just have to know whose door to knock on.
And same, it's taught me a lot recently because I've really had to change how I approach things. And actually in the last, like one of the reasons we haven't been podcasting is because me.
Michael works
I'm
24/7.
like always working, and it's like
He's fused his body with.
I live on my computer.
Yeah, he's a T-1000. He's actually a robot now.
Dude, I didn't want to be, but it is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, things have been that rough that there's such limited time, and it's not fun, but I think that these things pass. But also in that, I've learned a lot about myself and my career and how to stay productive and finding new ways to navigate new waters and get through it. And honestly, I've done some things because of all of it that are changing my career for the better.
Yeah.
And are going to bring me new sources of income. And I'm really excited about that. And just like you were talking about, sometimes you just got to go out and do spec shoots or build your portfolio when the work's not there. That's hard. If a lot of people can't afford the time, but I've been trying to force the time too. We did the Voodoo Donut shoot. That was, I thought that was pretty fun. Trying to do product photography, and now I'm going to be able to pitch that work and get other kinds of work. So.
Yeah, I think another thing is like knowing how to pitch and who to pitch to.
That's hard.
That's the hard part, is like finding the right people to do it.
You were telling me about Hunter.io.
Yeah.
And so for cold emails and just finding people, and you also were saying that about 1 in 100 people will reply.
I would say it's, 1 in 100
even if
or
it's
1
less,
in 10.
Imagine it's going to be 1 in 100, so you're not heartbroken. Because
I've heard from people, they send out like 100 cold emails every week.
Yeah.
And you're lucky to hear from one.
It's true. I mean,
and it's like, even if you hear from someone, you're not guaranteed a job.
Yeah. Well, even when you put in the work, like I did that donut shoot, and with that, I put like 2 days of time into a shoot. And I tried to find the marketing email, and I got it, and I sent my work, and I never heard back. So anyways, like 2 days of shooting and work, hoping that this company would at least see me.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even happen. And my work was really wonderful. And so
it's better than what they have.
Right. Well, it's disheartening too, but it's like the game we play. And so again, like the people out there who are really trying to hustle and try hard right now, like don't get discouraged when things aren't like going the way you expect them to, because they're not going to.
I think if you're like a really, really good photographer, right? Like, your craft, like, the genre inside and out, you can do it with your eyes closed, whatever. I think one of actually the best ways to make extra money is through education.
That's true.
Like teaching people.
Well, look at the biggest photographers out there that we think of them like career photographers. Like I think Lindsay Adler, because I've got a bunch of her books.
Yeah.
And so like it's the same as
education right there.
Exactly. And so like that is a future goal for me too. But I mean, at some point, even Lindsay Adler was probably like, "Am I qualified to teach?" I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm sure we all think that, but we know our skill sets and what we can do.
I feel like you kind of have to lie to yourself a little bit.
There's always imposter syndrome. No matter what.
I mean, not so much imposter syndrome, but like you have to like hype yourself up. Like you have to think you're the shit.
I mean, I can't
because like if you don't.
Can you do that?
I can do that.
Nice, that's good. That's
good
energy.
Okay, so we're gonna like backtrack a couple years, actually many years. When I first got into landscape photography, right? Everybody knows me as the landscape guy, but like I shoot other things.
That's true.
When I first got into it, I was like, oh my God, the competition is so high. There's so many good photographers out there, right? Like you go to the Nat Geo gallery, you go to the Peter Litt gallery, you go to all these galleries, like you see like the craziest work, right? And I told myself, I need to be better than all these people. Like I need to be the shit. And I spent years and years and years and working at it and traveling and, doing my thing. And I feel like, after all of that, I feel like I can compete with them.
Yeah.
But like, you kind of have to lie to yourself a bit and like trick yourself into thinking that you're the best. It sounds a little narcissistic.
No, I mean,
but like it'll translate, and like your clients will pick it up and they'll be like, oh, he's confident. He knows what he's doing. Like it's about perceived value.
That's part of the business. And like that, I completely understand what you're saying. And it's hard too, because the people you looked up to and idolize, like like you have to look back. Like I remember you said Peter Leak or I don't Leak. I would go into those galleries, and that was the first time I ever went into a gallery where I was like, holy shit.
This stuff is crazy.
This is insane. Like seeing the prints and seeing like the printing method and how large format and everything.
It's like the size of like the ceiling.
Dude, it was insane.
the floor of the ceiling.
And I had the same feeling. It's like, I want to do stuff like this because I was very into landscape photography it was my first thing as well. That and post-apocalyptic nonsense that I liked. But
living in the desert.
Yeah, pretty much that'll do. The sun was cooking my brain, you know.
Right.
I didn't know what I wanted.
Living in Borderlands.
Yeah. For me, it was Fallout New Vegas. Anyways, long story. But it's like they've also been getting better and better, but so have you. So you like look to. I'm still subscribed to those emails for people.
Are you really?
Yeah, absolutely.
No way.
And so like, it's hard because it's like you start to wonder if you're getting better because people you idolize are typically getting better as well, and you're like feel like you're almost stuck in the same spot. But you look back. I've gotten way better. You've definitely gotten way better. We've gotten way better.
Yeah.
And then at some point, I had to like also, because I'm selling workshops and events, and I have to get the clients above these other photographers trying to get the clients, and you have to be kind of like, I'm really good at what I do, trust me. And that's the weirdest thing to say. It's like, I'm really good at what I do.
You know, there's like a salesman part of the job.
Yes.
And then there's a, what's the word? They should be able to just like see your work and be like, okay, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't even be in question.
Yeah. And portfolios do speak for themselves.
Yeah. And if you're not at that level, then you just need to work on it.
I mean, in the end though, like when it comes down to if someone is calling different photographers and having conversations with them, you have to flat out say like, I'm going to give you the best work.
Yeah.
Like I'm confident in that. People want to see confidence.
Yeah.
And so one kind of note I get on my website all the time is you look too expensive. I can't afford you. That's a good thing.
Yeah, and it's like people are hiring me for like portraits and wedding, commercial, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And they see the value in the technique and like the colors and the skill and all the stuff behind the photos, and it's like again like perceived value.
Yeah.
So I think a good portfolio, no matter what the genre is, will like outshine anything.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot of struggle still because there is a point where, and it does sound like a little weird and narcissistic or conceited when you're like, my work is worth this amount of money.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing, especially right now when everyone's purse strings are tightening, is like let's face it, even if we're getting our ideal clients, like I'm not like making like crazy realtor money or something or like tech bro money or something. I
wish.
I don't make like a crazy living at all, especially after overhead with the studio. I live a very normal life. I like to go hiking and a splurge is like Burgerville or whatever, And so, and that's still charging these rates that some people find to be really high. But the hardest thing right now when purse strings are tightening is upholding standards for those prices, because at a certain point you have entered a new bracket, you provide a certain quality, and people will, no matter what, like you don't ask your plumbers for a discount. I say this all the time, you don't ask your plumbers for a discount, but people will ask photographers and videographers for a discount. You have to uphold standards, not just for yourself, but for the industry and for people who are not your chosen coworkers, but or like the people in your industry that you're working alongside. And I've seen so many people starting to panic and discount their rates, which just fucks everyone. And it's not like your photographer shit don't stink kind of mentality. No, it's just like basic business.
Yeah.
Like we have to have standards and uphold those standards. And so
the hard thing, or at least kind of like the not so great thing in that comparison, is that like your plumber is necessary. If your toilet isn't working, you're screwed.
That's true.
Like it's a necessity.
You want to shit today?
Yeah.
Then you need me.
Photography, unfortunately, not a necessity. But if you run your own business and you need like social media content or marketing photos, whatever, then that becomes a necessity.
It's true.
But to like the average everyday person who just wants like a photo shoot,
they're just trying to justify that expense.
Yeah, they're trying to justify that $600 session.
That makes sense.
Because $600 could be like a vacation.
It could be.
Or you could pay off debt, or you could do like so many things with
it's
that money.
It's hard because then you have to, like for me, then it's like, especially with weddings, I got to explain like, okay, well you can cheapen it, but you're not going to get that back. Like when you get shit pictures, like you're not going to get back. But I get it too, like a family session, they could just try again next year when things are a little bit different. So.
Yeah, I hear from so many people who cheaped out on their photographer.
So many.
They regret it.
It's rough. And like
it's like, don't spend 10, 20, 30 plus thousand on the wedding and then nickel and dime the photographer who's supposed to like capture the special day.
That one comes first, okay?
Yeah, like.
But even outside of weddings, like, I mean, I was talking with someone yesterday who's booking me. It's their third child's graduation, and then their families coming together, and then there might be a proposal in there. It was a lot, actually, that got thrown at one time.
So it's like a bunch of events in one.
I was like, this is crazy. I've never had like a threefer like that, but okay, I can do this. But
charge 3x the price.
The point was, she was saying she just kind of like didn't hire a professional for the first two kids, and she regrets it.
Yeah.
Because now they're grown and living their life, and she didn't get the senior like portraits of the graduation shots, and she can't get those moments back, and she regretted it. So she's trying for this last child.
Yeah, it was like one of the models yesterday, I forgot what her name was.
I'm bad at names. What was there? Okay, there was Drew Parvati.
It's the one lady.
I just met her, and I'm on camera, so I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, okay, so anyways, there was somebody yesterday at a meetup we were at, and she had two kids, and she said for the first kid she did like a ton of maternity shoots and she loved it. Then she didn't. Yeah, then she didn't do it for the second one, and she's like, I regret it.
I'm so sorry, I don't remember her name right now. But yes, I heard that conversation.
Yeah, and it's it's stuff like that. It's like your photos are like a moment in time. We have like cell phones and stuff.
Yeah,
you can kind of get it, but it's not the same.
I have my own regrets because I literally have cameras aplenty and a studio, and there are many, many moments that I haven't captured. And I don't need everything documented in my life, but there's like Fox's 14 months, and I did not do any crazy photo shoots with him. And I'm like, well, why? Why didn't I do that? And I want to kick my own ass, and I'm a photographer.
Right.
So.
Yeah, there's only so many, there's moments you can't get back in life.
It's true.
Like wedding is a big one. Your kids are a big one. I guess you could put like family, parents, whatever, all that.
Well, next thing you know, like someone could be gone, right? And, like, I don't know. But the point is, like, people, they don't see it that way until it's kind of too late.
Yeah, and it's after the fact.
It's all sorts of things, not just with photography. Like, time flies by, that's true. But we are seen as photographers and doing video as a luxury service.
Yeah.
And that does make things really challenging in times of, when the economy is not doing what we need it to do.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, okay, my rate is this, it's not changing.
That's where I'm at too.
Like, period. I'm like, I'm not dropping these rates any further unless it's like a commercial client and we're like negotiating back and forth, then I'll do it.
Yeah, it's the same.
But for like other things, like forget it.
With specific quotes, it's like also I can take away a little bit and do this, and I can alter a package, right?
Yeah.
But I also have not been giving crazy discounts. Like if anything, like when things are itemized, maybe I can include one thing, like I can waive the travel fee because it's a weekday or something like that. But
I can't go to Costco and negotiate the price of a whole chicken.
No. Well, it's $5.
It's $5. I want it for $4.
Yeah, I'm hungry. They're like, get out.
Right.
Membership revoked.
Yeah, it's like maybe we just start operating as like a retail thing. Like this is the price. That's it.
That's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm literally working on pricing documents right now that have, it's like sheets and grids, and the price falls where it falls, and it doesn't look like you can alter. Like, I know it says exactly this, but no, it's that. It is that. If you want a lower price, like for thing I was telling you earlier, I'm doing like a bulk portrait thing for groups that want to come in, and if they come together, get 5 more people then.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, the price can be lower if this much more, like if this is happening, right?
Yeah.
So we can't.
It's like, all right, 10 people, this is the price. 20 people, this is the price, and whatever.
You can't just like.
That makes sense.
Give and give and give. Like, people have to. You scratch your back a little. It's a mutual thing, right? We're providing something for each other.
Yeah, totally.
So, but I don't know. It's so hard to be like a media creator, a photographer, a videographer, and then also have to navigate all of these other sales, advertising. Like,
it never used to be like that. I mean, you always had to market yourself, of course.
Of course.
That was always the thing. But, social media is just a new version of that.
Yeah.
And, it's going out there to more people. But the frustrating thing is it's you versus an algorithm and a million other people trying to do the same thing.
It's really rough. But it's crazy too, because we also don't all need to be living within this algorithm, but we all collectively choose to.
Yeah.
It's like we're in the Borg or something. Star Trek fans.
Yeah. Do you think people are starting to get tired of social media?
I hope so.
Because like I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, okay, I've been on social media since like 2009.
Yeah.
Right? It's 2025. That's 16 years.
It's a long time.
It's boring.
It is.
There's nothing new.
It's just it replaced more what I found to be efficient systems, but it's all like to shortcut this. I feel like it's all kind of corrupt, and none of it's working for us. Everything is just keeping us hooked on something that we don't need to be hooked on. Like, I try so hard not to be on social media, but I'm forced to be, and I'm not even good at it. I don't respond to things. I'm not seeing my notifications. I loathe it. I really do, but you have to be there to find the work or to connect. Yeah. Or I've learned recently more and more, because I'm literally going door to door, meeting people and trying to find connections with people who could use my services, because things have been slow. And everyone I meet is like, I'm like, do you have a website? And they're like, I use Instagram. Do you have an Instagram? Instagram? And
everything is Instagram. The whole world is Instagram.
Did Instagram just magically replace most people's websites?
Kind of.
Yes, which is extremely infuriating. But people like it's like everything's cut and the same. Everyone's grid and profile, and we all have a social media profile with the 3 squares. Everyone lives in boring, monotone houses, and everything's like, cut the same. It's like
Edward Scissorhands.
We're literally just fucking the same shaped cog in this big ass machine that's not working for us. And I wish that we would all get away and not use social media. I mean, I feel like we have this space. We could be doing something to bring artists together in real life. That would be great, but no one's
there's one thing that would deter everyone from using Instagram.
Please tell.
Do you know what it is?
No, what?
If you have to pay for Instagram.
Dude,
like, if you had to pay to use it, everybody would be like done with it.
See, that's the thing though, is you look at everything that's really succeeded, and it starts with this guise of free. It never was free. Like, Google I've been having the biggest beef with Google, for example. I used to love Google. Why? Because they provided everything I needed to start my business for free. You get the profile, the reviews, you've got this convenient email, you've got tons of tools, right? I got maps to get to my jobs. I've got sheets to put everything in and save it. But then what happens when you essentially monopolize this whole tool field that we need for all our online shit, then I'm reliant on Google. Recently, just randomly in the middle of 9 o'clock at night, we've disabled your business profile without any warning. And so you type in Photo Studio Portland and you get ours, and it's right there at the top.
Yeah.
And then for 2 weeks, it was just literally not on the maps, and it was down the page, and I'm like, what even happened?
Yeah, I remember I tried to look it up on Google Maps.
Yeah,
It
you
wasn't
sent me a
there.
message like, what the fuck? That happens. For what, right? And they didn't care. They never responded. Finally, one day they just said, oh, you're accepted, and it was back. But for
weird.
a year and a half, I tried to merge my business and the studio so that my address wouldn't reflect my home. And people were going to my home to try to meet with me because they were like, oh yeah, I'll see you at your studio. And they would type in my business and it like would send them to my house. It'd be like, I'm at like a townhome. I'm like, oh my God, you're 20 minutes away. Like, no, it's in my email at the bottom. I'm so sorry. And so for a year and a half, I had to battle with.
We could do a whole podcast on how people don't read shit.
Oh my God, I could do any podcast on how people don't read anything.
They don't read shit. They don't like understand like the most basic things.
The point too, though, with like all these profiles and free things, like we're given all these free things and we think that that's like the best way. Instagram is not the way.
It's not the way.
Like it costs money to have a website, but I'd rather spend money.
Yeah.
For someone who's gonna, like, I'm being provided a service where I can customize and do my thing and put all my information and have my layout and whatnot.
You know what? I will say, sometimes when you're out in the wild, you know, it could be anywhere. It could be like you're out shooting a landscape, you're talking to other photographers, or you're out in public, whatever. You're just like, oh, hey, like, what's your Instagram? And if somebody says, oh, I don't have one, it's just like, whoa.
How do you not have
I'm
one?
like, you're weird.
I get inspired. I'm like,
yeah.
You don't have one?
Dude,
You're
okay,
just
I met
living
someone
for
like
yourself?
that.
Like,
okay, so I was at Lost Lake here in Oregon, and it was like pitch black out at night. We were shooting the Milky Way, and I was talking to this one photographer, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to Africa. I'm doing this and that. And, you know, he was like showing me some of his work, and like his work was really good.
yeah.
And he's like, oh, I got this like little art gallery at like, you know, Troutdale Art Center or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, do you have an Instagram? He's like, no, I don't do social media. I'm like, what?
I want to kiss him.
I'm like, that's crazy.
That's the best thing.
In my mind, it's crazy, but
that's the crazy thing is that we all think it's crazy.
Yeah.
When, like, I was recently watching that movie about Zuckerberg, The Social Network, right?
That was actually a good movie.
It was a good movie. And, I just watched that nights ago, and I was thinking about, like, how much, and this is going to sound not nice, but, like, I fucking hated him.
Really?
I hated everything about, like, that position, like creating something that's like eventually turned into what it did. Facebook, Meta, like sucking us all in, and now it's weird if we don't have this stupid online fucking platform. I watch old shows pre-Meta, pre-cell phones, because I dream of that life that is so far gone. When people are disconnected from their fucking phones, I can't stand it.
You know what's crazy is that we're going like way off topic now.
That's okay, I don't care. we've been going for a while.
Yeah,
we're just ranting.
We were like, oh, slow season, what do you do? Now we're like, we hate Meta.
Yeah, that's gonna happen probably every time I get on the camera.
Right, but like,
bitter.
you know, okay, like side note, and we'll get back on topic, but
Let's go.
So some millennials like us, we're like the last people to know a world without cell phones.
I think about that all the time when I talk to my children, and like
They're like iPad kids.
my son's pretty old. My oldest boy is very old fashioned, and
I noticed.
he loves D&D. He loves to
like
be
rolling around in the mud.
He's not so outdoorsy all the time. He's a super nerd, right? But they do play outside a lot. They do old fashioned stuff, and I think about here before too long, he'll be the age where it's like not inappropriate to have social media, and he's going to be wanting that.
Yeah, of course.
And I hate that because I see his friends. I won't say anything mean, but I see the friends that are on YouTube and are already like fucking with social media, and I'm like, they're just little, like they don't
know how to socialize.
They don't know how to socialize. They just absorb. They're like broken. And now you add, like AI doing all the thinking for us. Like it's a really weird time to be alive and to be an artist and to have thoughts of your own. And like some people who were already very indoctrinated by this new world, like think artists are fucking weird. And they're making money doing whatever weird shit they're doing that makes money in this era, but they don't value artists at all. And it's almost like I feel like I'm at war with new technology and this like whole anti-art culture that's existing right now. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been looking at like art and galleries too, and it's just getting more and more like minimal.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the banana on the, like duct tape to the
I
wall?
literally, I mean, and I like art in all forms, but I walked by this gallery the other day in Portland, and I won't say anything, but it was literally a podium with a pile of dirt on it. And
Really?
I'm like, they're just mocking fucking
That's
artists.
like the most Portland thing.
That's some Portland shit. And cool, yeah, it's still art. It's interesting, but I'm like,
It's just missing the tent.
I feel like, I feel, I don't know, man. I don't know what to do or you know, what's going to happen. But people are, I think that does play into it, because I feel like that is a reason that art has been so devalued, and why it's just seen as this luxury that no one needs. And the quality that people see, like the necessary quality is going down and down. So people like us are getting more and more pushed out, because we really care about quality, and especially quality over quantity. And so when we're like, you know, it costs this much for this, people have to think about it a little too hard, and then they end up just going with someone cheaper that's not going to do as good of a job, because I think everything has been like oversaturated by social media and just bad work floating around. And
so, okay, so like kind of back on topic.
back on topic, let's go. Get there.
So I feel like every so often there's these waves of like things that'll shake out photographers, right? Or like the amount of photographers in the industry. So like the great apocalypse of 2020 was one.
Yep.
A lot of people kind of like quit photography during that time. They went and did something else. Some people got out of like the media industry altogether. And I feel like now we're kind of like back at that point again, where it's like, I don't know, it's really like testing people, and like especially as like we're getting a little bit older too.
It's testing me for sure, man.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
So like, do you ever have thoughts of like, oh, did I choose the right career path?
All the time.
Should have went to school to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer.
No, not even that. I know that's not me, and I know that's not my life. Like, so
Right.
I've had a couple other pathways, and I've even had side hustles that I wondered if, like, oh, this could end up being a career, like, and I could make more money. I'm very passionate, and I love what I do. And if you would have asked me before this last weekend, I was having, you know, as I often do, I have a lot of responsibility and there's a lot of burnout. I have to make a lot of money to keep the studio open. And so there's too much focus on work and then not enough focus on life. So recently I was having very, very, very bitter thoughts. And I'm like, fuck this. I want out. I want to go to the country again. I want to have chickens. I just want to do anything to get away from all of this. And then I went on a waterfall hike and grounded myself and thought about how amazing my life is when it's like the opportunities that I have. And it's a lot of work. It sounds like, I know people could listen that are from other fields and be like, oh, dude, you get to do cool things. What are you bitching about?
Yeah.
The back end work sometimes makes it really hard to justify the cool moments. Like it's like 1% of the time you're eating cool food at a wedding, which is sick. I've seen some cool things. I've done some great things, or met cool people, right? But like the hustle and the grind to keep it going is so unbelievably tiring sometimes, especially in this climate, that it's like
everything's getting more expensive.
I could walk away and do something else that brings more profit tomorrow. I'm pretty smart. I know
you should.
But
like in photography.
But like, no, I would rather navigate these
You'd rather just go be a welder or something.
treacherous waters, because I know the treasure below it's better, man. I just like it, and it's my art. It's what I love. And I want to be connected to more of the right clients and more of the right people. And so I'm going to stick with it. But yeah. Do you feel tested? Do you feel like you should be doing something else?
You know, sometimes I go like back and forth. I'm like, oh, maybe I should do something else. And as soon as I do that, I'll get like a huge client and it brings me like right back to it.
I'm just sucked right back in.
Dude, I just keep getting sucked back in, and then the jobs keep getting bigger. The clients are bigger. And I don't know, every time I like veer away from photography, I start thinking about other things.
Yeah.
Something just keeps bringing me back to it.
I think the thing that's breaking me the most and it's always been my hard, like my struggle with being a photographer as a career is, it's also my art, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not doing nearly as many just creative fun shoots as I want.
Yeah. Like I'll go crazy if I don't like shoot a landscape or like do a cool like creative portrait or something.
Well, I feel like that grounding work is necessary. And
Yeah.
luckily I've been finding clients recently where I get to be creative in the way that I want to, where they trust me and like just be creative. Like I'm doing some album, a music producer, I'm working with her right now and doing some just cool creative stuff. And it's like she has a general look and idea and we're collaborating to find that. But it's also fun. It's like I get to play and be creative, and I've been like, this is nice, this is what I want to do. But if you just do too much of the corporate stuff or too many weddings, it's like, is this even my art anymore? Like, or am I just a camera with legs? Like, shit.
You know, okay, that's one way to look at it, but another way to look at it is that you could do like weddings and corporate because those pay a lot, right? But like you could use that to like fund other fun things.
That's what I'm trying to do right now.
Yeah.
But with things being slow, I feel like in my luck lately, at least since having a studio, has been every time I start to get ahead, something happens that's like keeping me at neutral, or just like right where I can't make enough to take a week off and go play. And
so something I've noticed, and this is like for both of us, we're getting a lot of one-time clients. They're not a lot of repeat clients.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to like weddings, because like they're only getting married once, right?
You get like maybe a boudoir session later, or like a gift, or maybe an anniversary.
Yeah, like you do like senior portraits, right? That's like they're only graduating high school once.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, maternity. Sometimes they come back a second time.
For lifestyle stuff, that's typically the way that it goes, and maybe you'll get like 3 sets.
So so you're like always having to find new people. You're always trying to like, you know, outmarket the other people.
Exactly.
But when you have commercial clients or corporate clients, it's like
it's seasons,
it's
quarters, reoccurring things.
Yeah, it's always reoccurring. So I think that's more so like the route to go.
That's what I've been trying to do recently.
Weddings are tough.
Yeah, weddings will burn you out. And there's there's a ton of reasons people might not want to do that. But the one cool thing about that too, I'll say, is even in the toughest climates, and even though it's a really saturated and hard market to be in, people always still get married. And there are clients out there that still always recognize that no matter what, above anything else, even if they're eloping, the one thing they want is a good photographer.
Yeah.
So if you learn how to navigate that market successfully, you have some semblance of stability. And so for me, a half of the year is covered because I know how to handle weddings. But with the position that I'm in and the overhead that I have, I'm like, if I didn't have a studio, I would actually make a good amount of money every year and be able to take some time off and have little vacations, or maybe like have more money to put toward a house. The studio is bringing me back a little bit, but also it's very like worthy in different ways of that time and effort, right? But just as I figured out finally after all these years how to make weddings lucrative enough to survive without the studio, and then having the studio, I have to now figure it out for the studio.
So you played yourself, basically.
I played myself. Yeah, I really did. Like, it took so long to get to where I wanted to be with weddings, and now I'm actually there. And I make more, but it like fills the gaps for what the studio is not currently doing. But it's all, no matter what you do in the freelance world, like you just have to navigate new waters, like I was saying, and find a way around it. And so for me, especially with what's happening right now, I've had to push harder. And like you were saying, commercial stuff, I'm like recognizing like there's a lot of stability because there's quarters and seasons and that. And then also working with people who might need like reoccurring student, like portraits for their groups of people. So like working with a host that has either students or a team, or like say a team of lawyers, you find one person. And when they have someone new, or if they need a yearly updated thing, like if you make it a good enough cost and you could justify that by, you have a couple setups, but you're shooting multiple people and making it time efficient, like, oh, I can actually reduce the cost without being an asshole to everybody and just making this efficient system. Like, work on your systems and what you do. Don't play the game like everyone else around you is playing. You can't go on Facebook and say, they're all doing this, and so I should do this. Yeah. Also, as we learned from a message that someone sent us earlier about second shooters, which I'm not going to say any names, but it was some spicy stuff. First of all, just going to throw it out there, which is off topic. $50 to second shoot a wedding if you're a professional is the dumbest rate I've ever heard of.
And they want you to have 2 camera bodies.
And so to have 2
full
professional gear and get $50 an hour.
For 7 hours.
That's dumb. Don't do that.
So I'm showing up with almost 30 grand in gear.
Yeah.
And you're paying me $350 plus my experience.
So my main point though is in the argument.
Do they say they want editing too?
I don't remember, but in the argument it was that the rates were derived like the local standards based on Facebook groups. Never, never,
bro.
Never get your like concept of rates from Facebook.
So bad. You're picking from the bottom of the barrel, and basically what it was that the guy didn't want to cut his own paycheck to pay somebody else.
No, don't be fooled by, like, if you're a photographer or videographer, don't be fooled by like companies that want to hire you. Those are one of my least favorite things that exist. I think they're a scam.
It's a total scam.
It's a fucking scam. And if you're one of the people that are paying people dirt cheap for their professional work so you can profit a whole bunch off of it, that's fucked up. Pay at least a fair rate.
I'm like, dude, they're charging almost $4 grand for a wedding. They're paying a second shooter $350, and the main shooter isn't even making $900, and you're profiting $2,000 just from logistics. Like,
if you're facilitating it, if you're making money from bringing a second shooter in, there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of back end stuff you have to do to get a client and organize and bring it in, make money. But look at the ratio, and don't pay shit. Pay a decent amount or collect a fee, something like that. That's a side topic we could talk about a whole other day too.
God, dude.
Turning your solo thing into a company or whatever.
Yeah.
I've seen so many people who have turned their solo thing or their couple team into like a company that hire the people, and they treat their people they bring in like absolute shit.
Yeah.
When they're on the grind. And that just trickles down and keeps going.
Yeah.
Stop that shit. I'm over it. So I'm going to start a company and I'm going to pay better because fuck them. But
like let's say you're charging $4 grand to shoot a wedding, right? Hypothetically.
Yeah.
If you're pocketing $2,500 and then you're paying $1,500 for the photographers to shoot, I don't know about that because
no. Well, then that, I don't know. That just it's going to reflect on the work.
It is.
And then the couple is not, like, say you're doing a wedding, right? The couple is not going to get that $4 grand worth of quality at all.
They're not.
No. So, and the same thing for anyone, you're not listening to this podcast for wedding stuff. We just talk about it a lot because it's a big field in photography, right?
Yeah.
But if anyone happens to be planning something like an event or a wedding and hears these words, don't hire a company that hires out their people.
No.
Talk to someone who literally just that does it. Talk to the photographer because they're going to give you their heart and soul versus a company who's just like,
it's a little bait and switch.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Because it's like, I could market myself as like Armand Noor Photography, like Armand Noor Weddings, right? Mm-hmm. And the couple could contact me and I could be like, I'm sending people on my team out there, right? You're going to get this quality of work. No, they're not.
No,
they're not, because I'm not the one going out and shooting.
Let's tie that into.
I'm out there looking for the bottom of the barrel, like some dumb idiot, willing to take this cheap rate so I can pocket $2 grand and not have to go work.
This ties in though to the topic.
And so then this, for example.
Yeah.
If you do that method, you could book 7 weddings on the same day. Yeah, and make 14 grand, and that's it.
Yep.
And then one other thing I got from that email was they're probably sending it off to like some editor overseas. Guaranteed.
10 cents a picture.
Yeah.
And who's also just like getting through as fast as they
Yeah.
can because they're getting paid per picture.
Yeah.
So,
because in the email it said we want like simple, easy to edit, like not a lot of work on the back end. So they're just like churning these out, trying to book as many weddings they can.
oh, absolutely.
Fuck you.
That's scam shit. Don't do that. We see you.
Straight up, fuck you.
We see you, and a bunch of people we've talked to also now see you too. Don't do that, please, ever again. Pay better. So, but this, to everyone else who is desperate for work right now, is actually extremely relevant to our subject today, which is don't, in desperation, take on those cheap ass jobs.
I got offered it. I didn't take it.
Yeah, no one
Said, pay me the rate.
No one in our
forget
bubble
it.
will take it. Someone will take that rate though.
Yeah.
And someone will go out and someone will think
It's okay for portfolio building if you're like super new to photography, but if you're like a seasoned professional and you have lots of gear and all this, don't do it out of desperation.
Yeah, but I think as long as that person is illustrating to the couple in this situation that this is not an experienced photographer, because I also will do things where I bring people out, but it's not like an add-on, right?
Yeah.
It's like if you want a second photographer, I can bring someone based on their experience. And I tell couples, if you want someone that shoots like me,
Yeah.
it's basically the same rate twice. I can't just randomly give them less. Or I give you a discount and I take a little bit off of mine, they take a little off theirs because we're co-shooting, right? But if you need someone who's only got like this much experience, then their rate is still like this much, right? And then for me on my end, I would take a part of that cut because I found the work, right?
Yeah.
So it's an associate, you take a little bit, and that's fair to me, right?
Yeah.
Or you pay a reasonable hourly, that's not horrible. But it's interesting.
Yeah. That could be a whole separate
That
podcast.
is a whole separate thing. How to not employ, but 1099 second shooters or co-shooters is like a whole thing we could talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, but long story short, don't take on cheap ass work because you're desperate, and buckle the fuck up because it's still going to be an interesting little while, at least here in the States.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say only take the opportunity if it's like a really amazing portfolio piece. You know, if someone is like, you know, come second shoot in Italy.
But not everything is a portfolio piece.
Not everything is a portfolio piece. Only,
don't be so thirsty.
yeah, like only if it's going to be like super amazing, like maybe a really epic wedding venue that you've wanted to shoot at, or
I think I'm just
maybe
tired
it's
of-
like a dream client or something, you know, but like these bottom of the barrel things, don't do it.
So many people
Don't
act like
lower yourself.
their event or their situation is like the must shoot thing of the year, and it's typically not. Like,
Yeah, don't do it.
just don't do it.
Don't do it. Ignore that email
Or send it to someone else.
or
and
send it to someone else.
talk shit about
who's
it.
Desperate, yeah. I mean, okay, in my wedding packages for video, I always charge for second shooter,
Yeah,
and they're gonna get the full rate, $100 an hour at least.
$100 an hour is like the minimum.
The minimum.
Yeah.
Because guys, like shooting a wedding is a lot of work. You're on your feet all day,
And it's
and you're bringing your gear.
it is less stress as a second because your main should have all their shit handled, but
Yeah, you're just like extra angles basically.
but it's also it should be treated with a lot of seriousness because
Yeah.
like what happens if your main just
Like-
wasn't looking in that direction at
Yeah,
that
or
time.
they like miss the shot or it's out of focus or something.
The couples expect a second who's got their shit handled, and it's the
Yeah.
same in any different kind of work. But
All right, so wrapping it up, slow season. Final thoughts.
it was nice to get back on and chat, and we
Yeah.
definitely, as usual, went all over the place. But it felt good to sit here and kind of talk about it because there's been a lot
Yeah.
in the slow season. A lot of change, a lot of struggle, a lot of
Lots of things going on.
what the hell do I do next, and it feels like no matter how far into the career you go, it's still always just a mystery. Like what's coming up. So, what about you?
You know, just keep marketing yourself.
Yeah.
Just keep trying to improve your portfolio, improve your workflow.
Don't get discouraged.
Don't get discouraged because you know what, like the work always comes back.
It does.
You know, there's been times where I haven't worked for like months, like right now.
Yeah.
And it eventually comes back. Kind of happened last year. Like,
but not if you don't try.
Yeah, you kind of have to try. You have to put yourself out there, hit up the old connections, try to make new ones.
That's something we did recently. Rose went and like sent like a message to all of the old clients, and we did get a couple things.
That's good.
So don't forget to go backwards too.
Yeah.
It's not just forwards all the time, especially if you've been doing it for a while and you have a lot of old emails. Like, people just get caught up in life and they need a reminder sometimes that life's going quick and they need to capture it, or whatever you do, you know. Old commercial clients is the same.
Yeah, shoot new genres of photography, learn to shoot video.
Yeah, fuck that whole like niche thing that Instagram taught us to do. Like, I love having a little diversity so I can pitch more things, right?
Okay, that's going to be the next podcast, if you should niche or not.
I don't think so. We'll talk about that later, though.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
Just keep hustling, everyone, though, especially if you're doing this full time. I know it's hard, but keep going.
Yep, just keep it going.
You got this shit. Big pat on the back from us here.
Yep. All right, well, so thank you guys for listening to another podcast. If you're listening on YouTube, like the video, drop a comment, share it with your friends. If you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, 5 stars. And that's it.
All the follows, and we'll see you again.
All the follows. We will see you all very soon.